Just wanted to do a quick video on how to set the high and the low limits on this Euroloft Project 2000 bed lift. This is the bed that's in the Revel. And the wife built these sweet shelves in the back so that we can have the bed roughly 9 inches higher than it was designed to be. That way we can fit our bikes in the back. But basically what we've been doing is manually lowering the bed because it stops at this low point. And so I just want to adjust the low limit so that we can just hold down the down button and then the bed stops at the right position. First step is to go ahead and remove this plastic piece under the bed. So grab a Phillips head screwdriver and just remove all the screws that are around the perimeter. I started removing the screws around the perimeter of that plastic piece and discovered that there's this flat piece of metal in the middle of the bed that seems to be acting as a support. So we're going to go ahead and remove the screws that are holding this to the top part of the bed. This is looking underneath the mattress from the rear of the van, so camera's facing towards the front of the van. Just go ahead and remove these screws. After removing the screws on that center support piece, go ahead and go around the perimeter of the plastic and remove all the screws. Definitely good to have a buddy on hand for this one to hold the piece of plastic in place while you unscrew it, because I just stood underneath it and put my head underneath it to support it, and that was no fun. So if you get somebody else to help you by holding the piece of plastic in place while you remove the screws, that'll work out a lot better. I also recommend removing these two screws that are holding this cable housing to the piece of plastic, just so you can free up the cables. Now that we've gotten the plastic off of the bottom of the bed, we can see the screws that we're going to be adjusting to set the limits. Sorry, kind of hard to get the camera up in there. But basically we've got a yellow screw and a white screw, or like a grayish screw. I guess they actually have the markings on the thing, but basically according to the manual, if you're gonna, basically yellow screw corresponds to the down position and the white screw corresponds to the up position. And if you turn the screw clockwise, that basically makes the limit, you could think of it as more restrictive. So basically the low limit, if I turn it clockwise, that's going to basically make it go down not quite as far. So if I want the bed to stop higher than it is currently, then you turn the screw clockwise, and vice versa. If the bed isn't going down low enough, then you want to turn the screw counterclockwise. And then for the up, basically, if you want the bed to stop higher, then you want to turn the screw counterclockwise. And if you want it to stop lower, then you want to turn that screw clockwise. And the manual mentions that 1 full turn of the screw corresponds to about 1 inch of movement. Alright, I've got my upper limits and lower limits all dialed in now. Before I give a demo, I just wanted to mention that I found it a lot easier to adjust the screws after I removed the zip tie that was holding this bunch of wiring to this metal bracket, because this hole right here actually works as a great pass-through to get to that yellow screw. You can see my hex wrench fits in here perfectly through the hole. So I took off the zip tie and twist tied the whole bunch of wires together, and I'll zip tie the thing back in place before I put the plastic cover on. Alright, demo time. So I'm going to go ahead and push and hold this up arrow for the bed, and I won't let go of it, so when it stops, it's stopping on its own. And that's right where we want it. Now for the lower limit, which is what I'm most excited about, I'm going to do the same thing, push and hold the down arrow until it stops. And there we are, we're at the lower limit. We have these side cushions pulled up whenever we raise and lower the bed, otherwise they interfere with the bed going up and down just because the flare is kind of narrower at that spot. So I'm going to go ahead and put them both down just to show the bed totally level. Now that I have the side cushions down, you can see from the back of the van, I just pulled up all the bedding just so you could see. Bed's totally level with the side cushions. So now we don't have to guess and check anymore. Now that you've gotten the upper and lower limits all dialed in, go ahead and reassemble the bottom of the bed in reverse order. When you're putting the plastic piece back together underneath the bed, as you can see, it's very helpful to have a minion. Plastic trim piece under the bed is back together. Make sure not to forget the 4 screws that we removed for that center support beam that goes across, and again, those are accessible through the base of the mattress. Hopefully this video gives you everything you need to fine-tune the high and low limits of your bed. Seems like a lot of trouble for a small adjustment, but in my opinion it's definitely worth it just to have the ease of putting the bed up and down and not have to worry about getting it to stop exactly where you want it.